Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we discuss a watch launched in 2021 in steel, 888 pieces, a limited edition, the Piaget Polo Panda blue chronograph. So 42 millimeters in diameter in stainless steel, 11.4 millimeters thin, and then 47 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. We've got a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. This is an easy watch to wear, very comfortable, a super flexible strap, thin and short across the wrist. I can recommend it for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference. Down the barrel, you can see how much clearance I have on each side of my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. And then you can see, being a Piaget, it is thin. It will easily clear a cuff. So this is your dress watch, but it's also a sports watch. And if you like a splash of color, it'll scratch that itch as well over the top. And you can see the lugs well inboard of the edge of my wrist, even as I'm pulling the strap tight. The strap is a lovely piece. You can see molded in, we have lateral striations that, along with the design of the dial, echo the traditional polo gadroons that date back to the original in the late 70s. You can also see that on the bottom, we have that design mimicked the coat of arms of Piaget. And if you look carefully, you can see we have little pull tabs that allow you to pop the strap out of the case without tools. And then taking a look at the buckle, you could see likewise, let's open this up. It's a twin trigger release system and a double fold. We have a pull tab that allows you to remove the clasp from the strap. So you can remove the strap from the clasp and remove the strap from the watch, and you can truly do all of your strap swapping without tools. Now we have a fairly thick gauge, double fold, twin trigger release, stainless steel clasp. This feels like it could be suitable for a Royal Oak offshore. It really does feel stronger than a watch of this size and weight requires. But hey, it's always nice to get more than you need. Now it's satin finished internally. You can see externally there's an artful combination of polish and satin, and that the design of the buckle mimics the design of the bezel. So we love our design parallelism. And then if you look at the bottom, you can see that the clasp even curves to match the underside of the wrist. So obviously an off-the-shelf part purchased. The buckle is the custom piece, but it is a good part across the board. The strap is designed to integrate with the case as though it were a bracelet. So it's designed to look all of a piece. You can see how it matches the slope of the lugs and the curvature of the case. And there is a little bit of fight and flare here, but not so much that it becomes a fit complication for smaller wrists. The case band is relatively simple. Integrated lugs, longitudinal satination, the lug hoods as well as the top of the case are polished. We have a little bit of an inward step of the bezel from the edge of the case to visually thin out the watch, then a very narrow sloped edge to the bezel before we get up to the top, which has a sort of rounded off TV screen profile. And then note that the satin finish moves from side to side as opposed to the vertical curtain of satin you often see on this class of watch. Also note that the inner bezel, the crystal, and the dial all have the same profile. They mirror each other in that regard. We have a Piaget branded crown and then rather unique oblong, I would say hybrid oval and rectangular pushers. You can also see Piaget wants to make things easy for you, so there's a little kerf under the crown so you can more easily dig in your nail, and when you're like me manicuring for these close-up videos, that is much appreciated. The dial is a combination of applique indices, which is a nice upscale look. Printed wouldn't feel right on a watch of Piaget's stature. Then we have blackened indices, blackened hands for better contrast, polished chapter rings, likewise blackened, surrounding the chronograph minutes and the chronograph hours. Note that if you stop the chronograph, there's not actually any running seconds here, but because it's a vertical clutch chronograph movement, you are allowed to leave it running full time with no hazard to the watch. So if you like that, feel free. Outboard, there's a track for reading the chronograph seconds and fractions of seconds. We have alpha-style hands for the hours and minutes, then a counterweighted Lancet-style seconds hand with a little Piaget counterweight. Note that each of these sub-registers is blue and has a very fine concentric pattern internally, and they are somewhat sunken to give this watch a little bit more dial depth, which you probably just missed if you want to rewind real quick and take a look, is that this chronograph has semi-instantaneous jumping minutes. We also have a couple of features you would expect on a modern watch movement, including hacking or stop seconds. And then, if only, We have a quick set date system as well. And note that there's a polished frame for the date. It's not a crude cut through the dial. We'll do a lume shot here. You can see plenty of lume, no shortage of that. And the watch, robustly water resistant to 100 meters, so this is a full service sports watch. This is the blue Panda because it has the darkened registers on a light dial, but instead of being black on silver, it is blue on silver. Turning it all over, you can see a custom Piaget rotor. Like the movement, circular Côte de Genève, ceramic bearings for higher efficiency. This movement may be familiar to you because it does business with Cartier as the 1904 CHMC. It was designed by Volflurier, which is Richemont's in-house movement factory that supplements some of the brands like Piaget and IWC and Panerai. So this is basically a Cartier-style movement. You can see it has a visible column wheel that actually has excellent column wheel feel, so it's exemplary in that regard. It's a 4 Hz beat rate, 50 hours of power reserve, stop seconds, quick set date, and with the combination of a column wheel and a vertical clutch, it has the modern architecture you would want on a bleeding edge modern chrono. Although machine decorated, it is handsomely and attractively decorated and it pivots on 35 jewels. There's nothing wrong with a movement suitable for a Cartier, and here it does business as Piaget caliber 1160. There is a protective sticker over this, so it will actually look quite a bit better and cleaner when you get it firsthand. If you love this watch, reach out to me. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.